Smart.
That way, if my doctor happens to be listening, she's not going to yell at me the next time.
Oh.
Hi, Mayor. Didn't I see you?
Hi, everybody.
Not too long ago.
Try that again. I know. Change of scenery.
Did you make it home in time to get something to eat, Mayor?
No, but Christian's going to bring me up some dinner, so I'll just quietly turn off my computer and have some dinner. Y'all, it has been too much going on this year already, and we're only on day 12.
Yes, indeed.
Did something happen?
It's just, more video footage is coming out, and I walked into the house and, Christian's watching it, and it's just, it's so upsetting to me. And I don't quite know what to do with it all. Except it's certainly made me more determined in other areas.
Well, here's to that. Let's take a look here. All right,
Councilor Craig is also in the waiting room.
Oh, great. Okay, I've got Councilor Diaz, Garcia Molina, Beke Arroyo, Councilor Soto, and Councilor Craig. All right, team. Give me just a second. All right. Excellent. Good evening, everyone. If you're watching, welcome to the first full meeting of council in 2021. As the mayor was just saying, it has been an exciting year already. But with that, I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. Mr. Harris, would you be so kind as to call the roll of members?
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. Arroyo.
Here.
Ms. Beke?
Here.
Ms. Craig?
Here.
Ms. Diaz?
Here.
Mr. Garcia Molina?
Here.
Mr. Soto?
Here.
And President Smith Waddell?
Here. All right. Thank you, Mr. Harris. Now, it's my understanding that we will be approving or moving to approve the minutes for both December 15th and December 29th?
Correct.
All right. I'll hear a motion to that effect.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve to approve the meeting minutes for the council meeting on December 15th and December 29th. Council comments. All right, hearing none. Mr. Harris.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Ms. Beke?
Aye.
Ms. Craig?
Aye.
Ms. Diaz?
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina?
Aye.
Mr. Soto?
Aye.
And President Smith Waddell?
Aye. Oh, pardon me.
Bless you.
Ugh. All right. Still with us? I believe that moves us to proclamations, honors, awards, and resolutions of recognition. Do we have any, Mr. Harris?
Yes, we do, Mr. President. We have one tonight.
All right. I believe that is council resolution number 1, 2021. It's our first, y'all. Excellent. So I'll hear, Mr. Harris, if you would.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster recognizing and commending healthcare workers whose tireless efforts in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic have saved countless lives and eased the suffering of many persons.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Yeah, like I said in the committee meeting, just thought that it was important for council to take some time to specifically recognize healthcare workers for everything that they've done for us in this past year and will do for us in the coming year. Council comments.
Mr. President, if I may.
Please.
I think it just goes without saying that right now, our frontline workers, especially our healthcare workers, are our heroes. We could not be moving forward throughout this pandemic without them. And we are just grateful as a body to be able to, in the smallest ways, just recognize their efforts, because we know it's not easy, and it's not going to be easy for some time. And we're just extremely grateful for them showing up every day and doing the hard work.
Thank you, Councilor Garcia Molina. Any other council comments? From the public? All right, hearing none. Mr. Harris.
Mr. Arroyo,
Aye.
Ms. Baker,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
Mr. Soto,
Aye.
and President Smith Waddell.
Aye. Thank you very much, Mr. Harris. That brings us to our first public comment period, reserved for persons who have contacted the city clerk prior to the meeting. Do we have any, Mr. Harris?
We do not, Mr. President.
Okay, that brings us to reports requested by council. Do we have any this evening?
We do not, Mr. President.
Okay, and that brings us to reports of committees of council meetings held on January 4th. That was our first committee meeting. We'll begin with the Public Safety Committee. Councilor Garcia Molina.
Thank you, Mr. President. So the Public Safety Committee did meet. There were 2 items on the agenda, both which we'll discuss today. Actually, the first one was Council Resolution number 1, which we just passed. And then the other one is Bill number 1, 2021, which is discussing incorporating 2015 International Fire Code standards to replace 2009. It's for first reading tonight. And I'm really excited for us to be able to catch up to the codes. And that's it for our committee, Mr. President.
Excellent, thank you. Councilor Soto, Public Works.
Thank you, Council President. The Public Works Committee did meet on January 4th. There were 2 items on the agenda. And those items were Bill number 3, authorizing the acceptance of a PennVest loan. We'll talk about it more when we get into it. And resolution, administration resolution number 4, appointing Cindy McCormick as city engineer. And we'll go into it more when it comes up on the agenda. That's all I have, Council President.
Thank you, Councilor Soto. Councilor Arroyo, Economic Development.
The Economic Development Committee did not meet during the last session, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Councilor Bakay, Finance.
The Finance Committee did not meet, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Craig, Community Planning.
Thank you, Council President. Community Planning did meet on January the 4th. We had 4 items on the agenda, one of which has been tabled to a later date. We also had resolution number 3, approving an amendment to the sewer plan control, which will come up later on the agenda. Resolution number 2, which is amending the emergency solution plan to provide shelter funding, which is also going to come up later on the agenda. And administration bill number 2, amending the noise control ordinance, which is also scheduled to come up on the agenda.
Okay, excellent. Anything else, Councilor Craig?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Diaz, Personnel.
Yes, Mr. President, the Personnel Committee met January 4th and reviewed the nominations, and they are as follow. Lloyd Hendry, appointment to the Civil Service Board to complete the remainder of unfurnished term until July 31st, 2021. Douglas Byard for a reappointment of the Historical Agricultural Architect Review Board for the third term beginning January 1st, 2021. Christina Leslie and Robert Schenk reappointment to the Shade Tree Commission for a 5-year term beginning December 31st, 2020. And Constantine Mandros and Dean Lee Evans for a reappointment of the Traffic Commission for a 2-year term beginning December 31st, 2020. And I'd like to make a motion that all these appointments be approved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Council comments on the appointments. All right, from the public. Okay, hearing none. Mr. Harris.
Mr. Roya,
Aye.
Ms. Beke,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
Mr. Soto,
Aye.
and President Smith Waddell.
Aye.
And that concludes the committee.
All right, thank you, Councilor Diaz. That moves us into our legislative agenda, starting with historic district, one historic district application and recommendation. Mr. Harris.
Yes, Mr. President. Broken Compass Real Estate LLC, owners of 470 Poplar Street, request installation of a new metal alleyway gate, and that application was recommended for approval by the Historical Architectural Review Board.
Okay, I'll hear a motion.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. I assume we've all had the opportunity to read over this, and it does come with a recommendation of approval. So are there any council comments? Okay, hearing none. Any comments from the public? All right. In that case, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Roya,
Aye.
Ms. Beke,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
Mr. Soto,
Aye.
and President Smith Waddell.
Aye. All right. Please enjoy your new metal alleyway gate, y'all. That brings us to our ordinances for first reading, which, okay, new year, new me. Do not require a motion at this time because we won't be voting on them. Bill number 1, Mr. Harris.
Yes, Mr. President. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lancaster, amending Chapter 142 of the Fire Prevention Code to incorporate the 2015 International Fire Code, including Appendix Chapters A through M, replacing the previously adopted 2009 International Fire Code, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for the severability of the ordinance, and providing that the ordinance shall take effect in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. The title, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Councilor Garcia Molina.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this one appears to be pretty straightforward. If we could add Chief Little, I believe he's in the waiting room, to kind of explain to us a little bit more in detail. And there he is. Good evening, Chief.
Good evening, Council.
So we have the same thing we talked about last time, if you don't mind explaining to us a little bit.
Sure. So part of the update to 2015 is to change all the language in the city ordinances and codes that say 2009 International Fire Code. It will all now be 2015. Partially why we're really behind in our years, because people wonder about 2021, is the state always sets what International Fire Code we're really working from. So they're actually also behind in their adoption. So right now it's at 2015. The only city within the Commonwealth is Philadelphia that is using 2018. The 2021 standard will be coming out here shortly. And again, the state's only going to be adopting in the next year or two the 2018. So we're always behind. So we're just trying to get to 2015 here for the city of Lancaster, also mirroring what our building code officials use. So as we all know, our building code officials in CPED and our fire marshals division work hand in hand on every project happening in the city. So we're just trying to align that so the International Fire Code aligns with building codes and really makes it a little bit more of an easier process for our fire marshals and the building code officials when they're reviewing plans of new construction or remodels. So that, if council, any questions?
The only thing, just for the public or anyone that should be listening, I know we talked about this the last time, Chief, but is there any major differences between 2015 and the previous one?
No, so we did do a review of the 09 to 15, including the appendix. Everything's going to stay the same and align. Really, it's going to be that year change is pretty much the biggest impact you're going to see.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Those are the only question that I have. Does anyone from council have any questions?
Chief Little, just as a point of curiosity, how often is the International Fire Code updated?
Do it on a 3-year cycle.
Okay.
So even though like the International Fire Code was an 09 that we're using,
yep,
all that new construction and the plans reviews that you see that come through,
right,
a lot of that fall under the 2015 building code officials documents as well. So they really overlap.
Okay.
So if you wonder if we're using an old outdated, the 09, a lot of our catches are happening for the 15 updates through building code documents instead. So we're still up to current code, even though the book was 09.
Okay, good to know. All right, are there any other council comments from the public? Okay, thank you, Chief Little.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Okay, that brings us to Bill number 2, 2021. Mr. Harris.
An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Lancaster, amending Chapter 198 of the Code of the City of Lancaster, Noise, Section 198.7, Variances and Noise Control Board, Application and Fee, to authorize a designee of the Noise Control Board to grant special variances and to require that all variances be issued with a condition requiring lowering of noise upon verified neighbor complaints, providing for the repeal of inconsistent ordinances, providing for the severability of the ordinance, and providing that the ordinance shall take effect in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
All right. Councilor Craig.
Thank you, Council President. This proposed amendment will improve the administration of noise ordinance by separating the administrative granting of special variances from the enforcement of the noise ordinance. The amendment will reassign the administrative decision-making for granting special variances from the Police Bureau to the Department of Community Planning and Economic Development. The Police Bureau will still remain the enforcer of the ordinance, but it will alleviate the administrative burden and clarify roles. Additionally, the amendment establishes conditions for all variances that allow the police to terminate events when applicants do not comply with orders to reduce the level of noise. Motion to approve.
Second.
Nope, ahead of myself. Questions from the committee?
Are there any council questions on this item? Great. Are there any questions or comments from the public? Okay. Councilor Craig, did you have anything else?
I did not.
All right, great. That moves us to Bill number 3, 2021. Mr. Harris.
Excuse me. An ordinance increasing the indebtedness of the City of Lancaster, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, by the issue of a guaranteed water revenue note in the maximum principal amount of $10,550,000 for the construction of various structures and facilities to improve the city's water system, fixing the form, dates, interest, and maturity thereof, making a covenant for the payment of the debt service on the note, providing for the filing of the required documentation with the Department of Community and Economic Development to incur and exclude additional debt of the governmental unit, providing for the appointment of a sinking fund depository for the note, providing for the authorized signatories and authorizing execution, sale, and delivery thereof.
All right, thank you. Did I? Okay, I was waiting for a bit about the severability and the laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, but Councilor Soto.
I believe this is the first reading, so we will not be voting on it tonight. Let me proceed now. This loan will fund necessary infrastructure and improvements to the city water system. The funds will place the Millersville Pike water transmission line and provide for the purchase of emergency generators. Those generators are required by the state to be installed by late summer or early fall of this year. Mr. Campbell noted that bids received for the work are significantly lower than expected, totaling $7.1 million. He credited the $3.4 million savings to the city's use of the Penn Bid online platform for bringing more competition to the bidding process and cleaner bidding documents. The loan amount will only be drawn for the funds needed for the project rather than the full $10.55 million authorized. Let's see here. There were 10 bidders for the Millersville Pike Water Main project. Without 10 bid, there'd likely would have been 3 or 4 bidders. The competition is helping drive down costs. Additionally, the bill has been revised to include phases not to exceed prior of the $10.55 million maximum project amount. The loan will be repaid over 23 years, with the first 3 years being payment of interest only. The interest rate of the loan will be 1% for the first 5 years and 1.743% for the remainder of the term. That's all I have. Unless Patrick, you have anything else to add?
Steve, you want to go first on project?
Sure. First, it was an excellent representation of everything going on with this particular project. This is very necessary water infrastructure, and every point that you made, Councilmember Soto, is exactly correct. We are very much looking forward to repeating this kind of positive lower bids by having greater competition by using the Penn bid system, which means that there's a lot of competition from contractors who are familiar with this kind of work, as well as the fact that we have tightened up the way that we do the solicitations. So that was a very good representation. I don't have anything more to add. I'll turn it over to Patrick.
Thanks, Steve. So on the finance side of this, we're still working on the final numbers in terms of, you know, the not to exceed number is $10,550,000. As Councilor Soto referenced, you know, we got bids significantly lower than were originally estimated. The all-in estimated cost now, if we count the actual project construction for both of the projects, some contingency on both projects, as well as some engineering, inspection and permit fees and things like that, is just under $7.6 million. So $10,550,000 down to $7.6 million. And what that translates into over the life of the bond issue, and I talked to Darryl Peck this morning about this. He did for me, just sort of a rough estimate based on that 7.6 number, what that translates into on an annual basis. And after the interest only period, it's about $170,000 a year savings in the annual debt service that's required. And then for life of the borrowing, that nets out to about a $3.4 million savings versus the 10,550,000 number that we started with. So, it's not just a savings on the cost of the project itself, but because we're using a lower amount of principal, we're going to also pay less interest over the life of the project. So, all in all, good news. The reality is that we will always have new additional projects that we will need to spend capital dollars on. So any money we can save on one project frees up additional funds for other projects. And Steve and his team have a long list of those.
And Patrick, just so I'm correct, this will come up for a vote at the end of our next city council meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Thank you. That's all I have, Council President.
Thank you, Councilor Soto. That moves us into resolutions. We'll begin with resolution number 2, 2021. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster authorizing the mayor to submit a substantial amendment to the 2019 Annual Action Plan, Year 4 of the city's 5-year consolidated plan, to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. The submission includes the projected use of funds for the second round Emergency Solutions Grant Programs, ESGCV.
All right. Oh, sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
That's the title, Mr. President.
Councilor Craig.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution is as part of the CARES Act. The federal government is giving Lancaster City extra money to help with response to the coronavirus crisis. In order to access this money, the government has to set up specific steps to ensure we are spending the money wisely. One of these steps is developing a general plan outlining what we want to spend our CARES Act dollars on. The federal government is asking that we place this plan as an amendment to our 2019 action plan. We're presenting this plan on how we'd like to spend $809,254,000 in CARES Act emergency solution grant dollars. These particular dollars are meant to care for and serve our community members struggling in homelessness. In short, our plan shows that due to COVID-19 regulations, social distancing, etc., and COVID-19 hardships, increased housing and income insecurity, we are expecting a need for an additional 40 emergency shelter beds this winter across the county. We're requesting that these dollars be used to help shelters meet needs. We're also exploring using these dollars to help pay for needs in outreach and rapid rehousing. Now, that's all I have, but I believe if anybody has any further questions, Susanna Thorson may be out there somewhere.
So there are 2 Chris Delph in the participants list.
Oh.
So I just don't know who to add. I didn't know if he wanted to maybe.
This is a developer's worst nightmare. Let's add them both. No. Would whichever Chris is the real Chris, raise your hand. Real Slim Shady, you know what?
Please stand up. There we go.
Mr. President, while we're waiting, do we need a motion on this? I'm going to ask the parliamentarian question.
We actually do. We have moved into resolutions.
Okay.
Okay, good. So motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. One day, y'all.
Thank
One
you.
day.
The other Chris Delph raised their hand, so I'm wondering if that's Susanna.
Chris, what's going on here?
I added them. Let's see what happens.
Good evening, Council. This is my favorite thing that happened today, by the way. In an attempt to save money for the good taxpayers of the city, we do double up on Zoom accounts from time to time. So if you have any questions, really Susanna as program manager and community development administrator, I'm sure she can jump in if necessary, but I will also stick around in case I can help.
Thank you. Are there any questions from council?
Yes, if I may, Counselor Craig.
Go ahead, Counselor Diaz.
Right now, I have a group of homeless families that a church has brought up to my attention. I think it's a total of 47 people. The church has been paying, but unfortunately, they are not able to continue. So the question was brought up to me, how would they be able to apply? We're looking at some of them being, I think, a total of 47, including school district of Lancaster City. They also have, just in case, I just figured I'd throw this out there, Friday, they're collecting hats, let's see, hats, scarves, quotes, and blankets. It's at the Spanish Assembly of God on Duke Street on Friday between 10 a.m. and 3 p.m. But going back to the necessity that we have in our city, how would they be able to apply? Because the question was brought up to me. So I figured while we're here, you can help me out with that.
So my understanding is where they would start is calling 211, and from there they'll be moved to a chart navigator, someone who would, what a chart navigator is somebody who takes an overview of your situation and then finds the correct place for you as far as services are concerned. So it's a two-step process. First, 211, call 211, and then from there, they'll be tied with a chart navigator, is my understanding. Can I just confirm with you, Councilor Diaz, 47 individuals?
That is correct.
And this is, would the church feel comfortable with you telling me the church, and perhaps you could email me a contact information and I can connect that church with Like My Home, our homeless coalition? And
yes, he is a counselor at Edward Hand. His name is Mario Nieves, and I can get you that information. I told him to give me a call tomorrow to elaborate more and give me more information, so I would gladly forward that to you.
Yeah, because beyond like the individual help that we can give to each of those 47 people, I think it would be helpful if there's a relationship built between those individuals and the church. We connect that to a bigger picture thinker like My Home.
Okay, thank you.
And also, Councilor Diaz, as it relates to hats, scarves, and blankets, I have a source for many of those. And so if you could also email me Mario's, Mr. Nieves' contact information, I can have another church reach out to them to provide a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions from council?
Councilor Craig.
Yes.
Perhaps you may know, what is the time frame? So I think in committee, if I remember correctly, there was going to be an RFP process for providing, say, like a day shelter, emergency shelter, hotel rooms. What is the time frame for actually putting these into place? So should we pass this evening? How quickly can we turn this around?
I can respond, Councilor Craig.
Yes, please.
So we haven't set a time frame for the RFP, but I believe it's likely that it will mirror the last RFP process for the first round of ESG Cares dollars and be about 3 weeks, with giving the community a chance to respond. I want to caveat that by saying that we're going to put this in place and post it on our website so that you have that detail. After that time period has elapsed, we will have an RFP review committee most likely put in place, including internal folks here, and we'll likely review quickly to try and start contracting. So I can get you that answer, but I would say to say a month and a half is probably likely.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Good question.
Thank you. Are there any other questions from council? No, hearing none. We'll take questions from the public. Are there any out there?
Doesn't seem like it, Councilor Craig.
Okay, so we've had a motion. It was seconded. Did we have that?
We
Yes,
did
we did.
have a motion and a second. So, Mr. Harris.
Okay, there you go.
Mr. Roya,
Aye.
Ms. Baker,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
Mr. Soto,
Aye.
and President Smith Waddell.
Aye. Thank you, Susanna. My guess is that we're going to keep Chris, or maybe we'll get Steve. But I mean, you're welcome to stick around, of course, Susanna. But thank you for answering those questions for us.
Thank you, Susanna.
Thank you so much.
All right. Administration Resolution number 3, 2021. Councilor Craig, this is also you, but first I'll hear. Mr. Harris, don't let me rob you of the opportunity to read the title of the ordinance.
Yes, Mr. President. A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster approving the adoption of an amendment to the Act 537 Official Sewage Facilities Plan for the City of Lancaster.
Excellent.
Motion to approve.
Love that.
Second.
For motion in a second, Councilor Craig.
Thank you so much, Council President. Municipalities are required to develop and implement comprehensive official plans that address sewage disposal needs now and in the future. When a new land development project is proposed, municipalities are required to revise their official plan unless the project is exempt from planning. As of November 2019, the PA Department of Environmental Protection has been more restrictive about issuing exemptions due to the city's challenges with combined sewer overflows into the Conestoga River. These modules are often submitted at early planning stages for development. This project for 215 North Queen Street proposes a new building on a vacant parcel within the Central Business Zoning District that will contain 51 new bedroom units. This project has received zoning and historical commission approval and is preparing for a land development submission within the upcoming weeks. It's been reviewed by planning staff and is recommended for approval. That is it, Council President.
Excellent. Steve, Chris, do you have anything additional to? Love that.
Nothing really to add. Thank you, Councilor Craig, for laying that out. I think the easiest way to think about this is we have an official plan that serves as our baseline for the sewage disposal that happens naturally as part of the built environment here in the city. Anytime we have a new land development, if it goes over and above that baseline, we need to do a capacity check, and the staff has done that analysis, that assessment, and then we submit it to the council to confirm that we've done that certification.
Ditto. I have nothing further to add to that.
Thank you.
Great. Council comments. From the public. Okay. Hearing none. Mr. Harris.
Mr. Roya,
Aye.
Ms. Baker,
Aye.
Ms. Craig,
Aye.
Ms. Diaz,
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina,
Aye.
Mr. Soto,
Aye.
and President Smith Waddell.
Aye. All right. I believe that brings us to Administration Resolution number 4, 2021. Mr. Harris.
A resolution of the Council of the City of Lancaster approving the appointment of a city engineer.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilor Soto.
Thank you, Council President. This resolution is necessary to formally appoint Cindy McCormick as city engineer. Ms. McCormick has served in that capacity since 2016. Ms. McCormick manages transportation, park projects, the bike plan, traffic calming, traffic signal improvements and operations, and safety projects. She has reviewed land development plans for compliance with city ordinances, coordinated planning and policy efforts related to public right-of-way, the active transportation plan, a Vision Zero plan, pedestrian safety and education enforcement and coordination of the Public Works Capital Plan. Ms. McCormick speaks regularly and nationally on behalf of the city. Highly recommended for the adoption of this resolution, and I heartily agree. Anything else, Mr. Campbell?
Again, you've done a fantastic job of representing not only her credentials, but her responsibilities. Cindy is tremendously dedicated to the health and the vision of the city of Lancaster, has served well in that capacity in the past, and very much embraces that a greater vision as she has led the Vision Zero program and the variety of public right-of-way initiatives. I can't think of a better partner to have for the city of Lancaster in ensuring that our best interests are maintained and are put forward not only at the local level, at the regional level, but also at the national level.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell. That concludes what I have to say, Council President.
Thank you, Councilor Soto. Are there other council comments?
Mr. President?
Councilor Baquet.
Thank you. I just want to take a moment to echo all of the glowing praise. I always enjoy hearing from Cindy and explaining projects that are coming up in the city, and appreciate the fact that we have such amazing talent among our staff.
Indeed. All right. My only regret is that Cindy's not here for us to publicly embarrass her with praise. But please pass our adulations along to her. Are there any comments from the public? Okay. Hearing none, Mr. Harris.
Mr. Arroyo.
Aye.
Ms. Baquet.
Aye.
Ms. Craig.
Aye.
Ms. Diaz.
Aye.
Mr. Garcia Molina.
Aye.
Mr. Soto.
Aye.
And President Smith-Waddell.
Aye. All right. Congratulations, Cindy. That brings us to our second public comment period, open for comment about issues not on the agenda. So it's a new year. Let me set some ground rules. Not for the three of you that are currently on the meeting, but just so it's in the record everywhere. Public comment in this period is limited to 3 minutes. We ask that people be respectful in their comments, and we ask that you start by giving us your name and your block and 100 number, or your street and 100 number of residence, as well as the municipality. So, for example, were I to make a public comment, I would say, Ismail Smith-Waddell, City of Lancaster, 300 block College Avenue. And that's how we are going to ask, just so we are meeting all of our legal requirements. So just going to ask everybody to play along with that. In case any of you have a public comment, if you're on the Zoom webinar, you can click the little raise hand button. If you're watching along on YouTube, you probably got to the YouTube channel from the City Council page, and there are instructions on both, I believe, on how to call in. Okay. Going once. Going twice. Going to the report of the mayor. Mayor Sirachi.
Good evening, Council. Thank you, and Happy New Year, everyone. Just a few things I wanted to bring your attention to. One is that I will be delivering a State of the City, my third one, on Tuesday, January the 19th at 7 p.m. We'll be live streaming this from Zootropolis, and I hope that you all will be able to join or watch later on. I also wanted to call your attention to the first listening session that the Community Police Working Group is organizing for identifying the characteristics and priorities for our next police chief. That will be held on January 25th at 6 p.m. Again, that will also be virtual. And I just want to underscore the fact that we are on a parallel path here. We're just want to remind the public that yes, we do have a new interim police chief, and he is doing quite well in his role. And we have also made a commitment to the public to engage in a process in which Chief Bay has indicated that he will be applying, and we will also be accepting other candidates. And so we are continuing to move down this path, and I look forward to having Chief Bay come and present to the Public Safety Committee about some of the work that he is undertaking. And in the meantime, the listening sessions will continue. So again, the first one being on January 25th. I also wanted to share with Council that 27 members of our Fire Bureau have been vaccinated in partnership with the Lancaster Health Center. And that has taken place over the last 2 Saturdays. We are fielding a lot of questions on behalf of city staff as it relates to the vaccinations and the vaccine rollout. We have many positions that fall within the essential worker category of 1B, which recently has been expanded as part of the vaccine planning that the Department of Health released last Friday. And so we're trying to keep up with, just like everybody else, all of the changes as it relates to the vaccination prioritization, and to ensure that any other additional firefighters, police officers, and essential staff, both in CPED, particularly our health inspectors, as well as within DPW, including our water and wastewater operators, are part of that first rollout. I should also just mention, of the 27 firefighters who were vaccinated, there were 0 issues, no negative reactions to that vaccine. And we really appreciate them stepping forward at this juncture and to continue to help educate individuals, their team members here in the city of Lancaster, and family and friends about what it means to be vaccinated. And I should just note that President Smith-Waddell appreciated you sharing your experience getting vaccinated with the public as well, and encourage each of you when the time comes. Although I know we have other employees of LGH that are part of council, but I don't want to assume that they too were vaccinated. But just to say that we appreciate, I appreciate your role, being a role model for the vaccination process in our community, and to continue to encourage your loved ones to avail themselves of a vaccine as soon as possible. Of course, ensuring that it's not contraindicated for any reason, but most people will be able to healthfully receive the vaccine. So that is the conclusion of my report, and I will continue to keep you posted as it relates to our progress overall with vaccinations.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Sirachi. Yes, I'll take a little time, first of all, to wish everybody, everybody who's watching, and every member of council and city staff a happy new year. And of course, encourage people, as the mayor said, to get vaccinated where and when they can. I'll just say I was vaccinated 9 days ago. Have not had any symptoms or side effects since. As is common for intramuscular vaccines, my upper left arm, where the vaccine was administered, was sore for about 48 hours, and I've had no additional symptoms or issues since. I'm scheduled in a couple of weeks to get my follow-up vaccine. So I want to really belabor the importance of, if you've gotten or if you get your first injection, be sure to follow up and get that second injection. Because for the vaccines, I believe that puts the protection in the 90 to 95% range, which is where we would like everybody to be, and to please plan for that. So if when you get the vaccine, they'll schedule you for that second vaccine. Interesting fact, more than 4 million healthcare appointments every year across the United States are missed due to transportation issues. So please, please, please plan to make that second vaccination. Get help, call somebody, get a ride. Do get that second vaccination, because we're all trying to keep our community as healthy as possible. That was all that I had. So we'll move to council comments. And I believe that Councilor Diaz had a comment she wanted to make. And I see you as well, Councilor Soto. Councilor Diaz.
Yes, I just wanted to talk about on what they call the National Day of Service, which is a celebration to honor the spirit of Martin Luther King on January the 18th. The National Day of Service is one opportunity for all Americans to unite and serve at that time when global pandemics call on all of us to work together and support our communities. No matter where you are, you have the opportunity to give back, and the agencies that usually do so. Most volunteers' activities only require 1 hour to 2 hours for an event, which is either virtual, social distance. It could be creating cards to patients to send them to COVID-19 patients, letter writing to our senior citizens at nursing homes. You can knit a blanket for the homeless. You can have virtual activities, and either go shopping for military families, hotline volunteers, and any hosting of grassroots volunteer fundraising also. So I just wanted to emphasize that that will be happening on the 18th. And that is all, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Diaz. Councilor Soto.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted everyone to be aware that I did have my shot. I had it 8 days ago. I had no reactions whatsoever from that first shot, maybe a little forearm for about a day, but that's about it. And I highly encourage everybody to do it. I know there's people out there that believe it's not safe, and they go on by rumors instead of trust the science. Get your shot. Protect your family members, your neighbors, your colleagues, your friends, everyone that's close to you, and people that you may not even know that you may run into on the street. But I encourage all of you, take your shot if you haven't had it. And if you had, encourage other people to do the same. Thank you, Council President. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilor Soto. So, Councilor Diaz did mention that Martin Luther King Day is coming up. And I'm reminded of one of his more pertinent quotations, which is just to say that the time is always right to do what is right. I think it's been pointed out that as Americans, and as we are in the middle of questioning what it means to be an American, given the events of the past week, we tend to be very good at responding to crises with heroics and acute ways. We run into burning buildings. We, rescue people from floods. Take a moment to shout out our fire department here. Thank you. But when it comes to just sort of simple, consistent things that we can do to keep each other safe, we really struggle. And as Councilor Soto pointed out, this is a simple, consistent thing that you can do to help keep your community safe. Get your first shot, show up and get your second shot, wear your mask, social distance, wash your hands. You might save a life doing that you would never know about. So with that, I will hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we are